All right. Welcome to our session. Please have a seat. We are going to begin. I'm just going to introduce the session, and then I will hand it over to the three wonderful ladies we have in the room today. You might have seen in the program, we initially were also supposed to have a fourth speaker, who is Ilia Keniigshtein, and I hope I'm not butchering his name, from Keniigshtein, which is a beautiful coworking brand from Ukraine. Sadly, Ilia cannot be with us, but he did take the time to make a really nice video, which I would like to show first, and then I'll hand over the microphone to Vika to take it over from here. So I'll just play the video now.
Hi, folks. My name is Ilia Keniigshtein. I'm a founder and CEO of the Keniigshtein, a modern Ukrainian company that creates an ecosystem of products for a full-cycle lifestyle, from office solutions for work to leisure and safety of our residents. We are the largest fast-growing chain in Ukraine. During the full-scale war, we saved all the locations and continued to expand and launch new projects. Keniigshtein is trusted by lots of international companies such as Fiverr, Lyft, Procter & Gamble, Glovo, UN, and many more. Besides, I'm an evangelist of innovations that disrupt modern lives and a person who made 3G and PayPal happen in Ukraine. Born in Ukraine, moved to Western world in the early 90s and got back to Ukraine before 2014 when Russian aggressions in Ukraine started, running a business in Ukraine during a wartime. I'm speaking to you from Kyiv, Ukraine. We were supposed to meet face-to-face in Porto, but sometimes God laughs on our plans, actually. This is one of the reasons I'm not in Porto with you these days. The second reason you can see behind me, we are taking the last steps before launching our new location in Kyiv, the creative states of Arsenal 3. My speech had to be about managing and growing a business in Ukraine during wartime. I believe the best way to understand is to visit Ukraine and our 6 locations, 5 in Kyiv and 1 in Dnipro. I hope that the near future allows you to come to us. You all can be sure that Keniigshtein always welcomes you. I can make a long story about all the specifics of running the business in wartime with the hundreds of details that co-working spaces have to consist, starting from security and issues with fully equipped bomb shelters to a strategic reserve of Prosecco to combat stress. But the main message I want to share is that our state of mind and mission is to create all the must-have conditions for the normality, both for the Ukrainians, locals, and foreign expats who choose to spend those days in Ukraine. Ukraine is a nation with brave people who keep living their lives, creating new projects and starting new businesses during wartime. We dare to create one more dreamland from the creative states, the creative state of Arsenal 3. The most unusual location born in Kyiv in wartime. We love children and all our locations are kids-friendly, but this is the first family-type location with special services for kids. This location is created in a historical building with a huge emphasis on safety. The bomb shelter is located right inside of the building. This night, Kyiv was attacked with more than 60 Russian drones to damage our electrical infrastructure. In case of blackouts, all our locations are provided with electricity by 2 powerful generators and passive optical network for a stable internet connection. Similar to the mountain expedition, running a business in Ukraine, you must dare, you must think about your safety, and you must not be afraid. You must believe in your project. You have to find the strength to reach the summit. I hope to see you one day in creative states and show you all our dreamlands that are inspiring people to work, relax, and live their lives. I want to say huge thanks to you guys and to Pauline Russell, who has been supporting us for a long time. Thank you, Pauline, for this opportunity, and as I promised, we will definitely meet in Europe and then in Ukraine. Thank you, and warm hugs from Kyiv, Ukraine.
I'm gonna hand the floor over to you ladies. I'm just gonna open your presentation, sorry, it disappeared. There it is. Oh my God. What did I just do? There we go. Someone speaks Portuguese here and can tell me where is like full screen? Where?
Yes.
Or?
F5.
F5, okay. Because I tried it was not working.
Still not working.
No, F5.
In Portuguese?
There we go.
I'm
Thank you,
Portuguese.
Vika.
Thank you so much, Paulina, and thank you everybody for being with us today. My name is Vika, and as you see, I'm in the middle of two beautiful ladies, Anastasiia, and we will make our intro speech, each of us, and walk you through our presentation today. I'm president and co-founder of Ukrainian Coworking Association, and then each of us will make a short introduction about us, and then we proceed.
Hi, one of Anastasia's, how can I introduce myself? That for Vika is very easy, yeah, and for me it's much more not so easy. Yeah, I'm from real estate business. I was working. I'm working in real estate for many years, and once one day I understood that I had this year I had 3 big deals, 2 of which was with co-working operators, and I said, I thought, okay, it's like something new, and maybe I should look at this field. And then we met with Vika and started our Ukrainian Coworking Association. So my second part of myself is just doing this big idea, taking care of this big idea of creating the Ukrainian Coworking Association, and be the a place where all coworkings they can collaborate, they can communicate, and it's very important for us in our our community.
And also, it's unpaid hobby of Anastasiia, like you say.
Okay, hi. I'm Anastasiia as well, so it's easy to remember. And let me. I'm the co-working operator, so I'm the representative here in Aku because we are from the different backgrounds, and we have different roles. So basically, I'm the board member of Ukrainian Coworking Association, and I represent the coworking. Coworking, not coworking, is called. It's a Ukrainian chain of coworkings. We have 2 locations at the moment. So the name is quite cool, I think so, because it's like a playing of the words. It's like not co-working, so it sounds like it's not co-working, but it is, so it's like this. So we're gonna speak about different topics today, and each of us has different things to reflect. And Anastasiia will give the overview of the market in general of Ukraine. Victoria will talk about our working association, and I'm going to talk from perspective of a co-working operator. After each topics, you can ask questions, and the tone of our presentations, we're gonna talk about war. But it's gonna be like how do you call it? This factor affects our business. So we're not gonna talk the petty things like we are living in, but only as it affects our business. So I think Victoria can start, and then we can talk later.
I'll go somewhere here. It's easier for me to stand when I'm speaking. So I want to give an overview, and this is a very serious slide actually on the first slide. Ukrainian Coworking Association is legally registered in the Ministry of Justice Ukraine this year, May. So we are officially working NGO in Ukraine. The idea started actually 4 years ago, roughly, and it was only the idea, but it was born due to the fact that it was very strange for me that co-working spaces are caring about community. So community factor and values is very important. And I was asking myself, why are co-workings not creating community themselves? And this was very utopia idea, because that time the market was quite immature. maybe 8 or 9 years by that time, and was very competitive and rough. So everybody were like sharks to each other, which has changed with COVID and war. It really united us and the market players a lot. But important is that we are legally registered, but also we are on the market doing some workshops, events, annual market researches for 4 years. And it's only 3 of us today, but actually we have a supervisory board and co-founders of 7 different people with 7 different backgrounds. Like Anastasiia said, she's a co-working operator. Anastasiia, another is, from real estate consultancy. And others also have different backgrounds like media, consultancy, co-working operators, and me as well as a community builder, community player, and a person who just loves to unite people. And we have a lot of projects inside Ukrainian Co-working Association, but it would be very hard to me to speak about all of them. And our other speakers will reveal them as well. So I have 2 more slides. The first one, which I think is very important, we did roughly a year and a half ago. We digitized the map of co-working spaces in Ukraine. And you can see the QR code. It will lead you to the website where you can see the map and all our other projects. But what is interesting here, that the red ones are, for example, those which are closed due to the war. And you see a lot of them here. So we want to honor them and to be on the map, but they are temporarily closed or at least not working now. Like that, or not orange, but pale ones are those which have opened. And if you click, especially from the laptop, on each of them, you can see, do they have a Starlink? Do they have a generator? How many electricity suppliers they have? Usually 2 is minimum for now. And you can also see here that a 13 and 5 and 3 here and 5 here on the west of Ukraine, which has changed, of course. And before the war, it was less of the spaces on the west, but they have opened. So it's both for the spaces, it's both for the clients, and it's for us. We do update it each year, even each half a year, so keep it up to time. Are there any questions about that? No? Because I see some people nodding. And the next slide, which would be another slide, another big project. We're actually just starting this year. We're working on co-working visa for Ukrainians. What does it mean? Ukrainian Co-working Association has its members, and for now it's 6 or 7 members who have applied to be a member of Ukrainian Co-working Association. And what we are doing now, we are partnering with Spanish Co-working Association. And we say, if the member of the co-working space, who is a member of Ukrainian Co-working Association, is traveling to Spain to change the country, to start living there, to adapting, or just for the tourism, he or she can have different spaces, say different numbers, but usually it's 5 days per month for free to be the part of this community. And why are we doing that? Because me, as I also going through this path, changing the country, for me it was crucially to adapt and to integrate in new society, which took me 14 months, but still. We want to grant access and to give access to the true co-working spaces and true communities. Some of the people understand what I mean here. And when the person is adapting there, that he can be like the help of the local community, he can have somebody to rely on and to be to have access about it. So this project will be launched in December, so in a couple of days. First Workspaces as the first one in Spain who we are working with, but it will be done with Pro Workspaces, Spanish Co-working Association, which might of you know. So we want to launch it with them, see how it goes, see the feedback of the residents of the Ukrainian co-working spaces, see the feedbacks from the Spanish co-working spaces, and to keep it rolling, to give the access to the community mainly. So this is a big one we're doing, and I think it would be impossible without being official co-working association and without being like having this space of the needs that it's like really needed for people. And that's what I wanted to tell you. And if you don't have any questions about that, not to keep time, I will give the slides to Anastasiia, and she will tell about the actually annual co-working industry researches we are doing in Ukraine. I want to add that we were lucky to some extent to do it before the war, because we were the first one who did the research of industry of co-working spaces only before the war, and of course after, so we could measure the change. And she will tell you more about it.
Yeah. Hello.
On the right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yes, as Victoria said, like my part for today is just to show you how the Ukrainian market works now during the war in numbers, like in real numbers. And first of all, I would like to tell you overall market overview. Ukrainian co-working market is, I would say, quite young, but it's very good developed. We had, I think that our market started to grow mostly in 2017. So it's like, quite young. But now we have like quite big share of flexible working spaces. I mean, in total stock of offices. Yes, it's nearly 5% of general office stock, which is quite a high indicator. We had the market is shared between top biggest providers. And one of these is IWG, which is, I think you know it, because it's like international big network, which is presented in Ukraine by Regis. And a few years ago, they added also spaces. We have 2 spaces in Ukraine. And then 2 more operators. They are local, but Creative CS, it's like Creative States, which Ilia we saw before, and one more is CQ, is Creative Quarter. It's one more big provider of flexible workspaces in Ukraine. So this means that our market, like it's mostly concentrated in Kyiv. But a few years ago, I think that's maybe 3-4 years ago, we also observed the expansion of these big operators to regions. And before the war, this trend was like significant, you know, because big operators started to expand in the regions, and that's I would say it was very good reflected on the local markets, because the quality of the services, it became higher, of course, because these best operators and these best providers, they are like they keep in the best cases here, and all market was very good, like in the right way. It was developed in the right way. Of course, when the war started, these like trends were transformed because our eastern and southern part of Ukraine is reflected by the war, and all business development and all like providers development in this part of Ukraine was stopped. But at the same time, we have the western part of Ukraine, where this business development is very active now. So another Anastasiia is a representative of a co-working network on the western part of Ukraine, and she will tell after my speech how it goes there. And I can say that it goes really good. Yeah, please. Yes, so, and also we would like to share the results of the our survey which was done this summer, and we searched. This was the research of 12 cities of Ukraine. We asked about the operations during the war, how it changed, and what's new, and so on, and how we can evaluate the activity of the co-working spaces. Of course, first of all, it's occupancy levels, and we can see on the chart that in first 3 quarters of past year, of course, the occupancy levels was very low. And of course, it was caused by the war because businesses closed and someone moved to abroad and so on. But in the first quarter, we see like a very, very huge rise of the occupancy. Why it was? It was, first of all, because the blackouts. I think you know that the past autumn and winter, yeah, we had the missile attacks for our power infrastructure, and the co-working, they were the one and the first who jump into this challenge, and they actually were the first who found the solution. They buy some generators, some power stations, internet like Starlinks, and so on and so on. So they provided actually the access to power, access to internet, and so on. So for normal work of the people, yeah. So that's why we had this very short-term but big demand for the co-working spaces. Then it was lower, and now it is fixed on 60% in average over the Ukraine. But we have the cases, for example, in Anastasiia Coworking, that, and not just here, when the occupancy levels, they even came to pre-war, and it's about 90%, even 90, 95, and so on, which is unbelievable, but it's a fact in terms of a war. Then, one more issue we talk about with the operators, providers, it was the contract duration. And before the war, we had the trend for longer contracts. Even in the flexible spaces, we had the longer contracts because the co-working spaces in Ukraine, they are not just for startups and individual entrepreneurs. Yeah, it's also for corporations and big companies and so on. And I'm, as a property advisor, personally, I have a lot of clients who moved to co-working spaces from with big names and so on. And we observed the trend that the contract duration in co-working could be several years, not even 1 year, but 2 or 3 years and so on. And now, of course, we see, we see the effect of short-term contracts because, of course, it's instability and it's very turbulent times, and no one knows what is gonna be tomorrow. And so we see that the contracts became shorter. But the big insight of this study, it was that the commercial component of operations and economic factors, they remain the main aspect, the main driver of work of our co-workings. Yes, because for now we understand that who wanted to leave Ukraine, I mean companies who wanted to leave Ukraine, they already done it, and the businesses were closed, someone immigrated and so on, and who is now operating in Ukraine, they are trying to do it in current conditions, in new reality, in all this new life. So when we talk about the significant factors for further network expansion, yes, you see that, for example, majority of the locations, yes, they said that it's important for them to have the consistent occupancy rate for existing locations, and then they are ready to expand. So, and for example, just less than 20% said that complete end of military operations is the main factor for them for expand. So it means like, yes, the main factor for further development and expansion, it's just the commercial economic factors, which is really like, I would say, good. Next. Yeah, and one more chart below about the same topic. Yes, the reason for closure of the location that we have, like it's half of the location, it's just about the commercial component. It's like non-profitable location for any reasons. It's not just about like the damage of the location and so on. It's more about the commercial component. And from the locations, we had around 35% of 35% of location who was temporarily closed, but half of them, they already resumed their operations. So our market like works for now, I would say like 90% of the market is already works again. Even half of operators, they have plans for the network expansion in 2023. And it's, of course, it's first of all, again, in Kyiv and in western part of Ukraine, of course. But anyway, it is driven by huge, big occupancy rates. And I would say, like the person who deals with a traditional market and with a flexible market, then flexible market in Ukraine is much more better, like feels now, and has much more better indicators and performance. Yeah, thanks.
Is there any questions for Anastasiia, maybe? There were so many charts. It's not for you, for me? Okay, you can do it.
How do you see the perspective? How do you see the perspective of Ukrainian market now and after the war?
You know that, as I already mentioned, even now the market expands. So of course, it's not the same pace as it was before, because a few years ago, before the COVID, and even during the COVID, we had like the really huge pace. And me, as a broker, I really had like, for example, 3-4 big deals for a year, and half of them were the co-working operators. And it was like just a huge pace of expansion. Now, of course, it's slower, but even now they are expanding. And I expect that taking into account the global trends of the flexible market and flexible solutions and so on, it has huge perspective. And I think after the war in Ukraine, it will be really a perspective niche, because even now we have investors who is like talking about the future periods, and even now they are ready to like do something. It's, of course, it's more about the local investors, because for foreign investors it's very risky situation. But even now we have the local investors who is ready to invest. And if we're talking about the after the war, it's like very huge plans, very big, and I believe that it has very good perspectives.
We feel much better as a commercial office, I mean, the classic one. Anyway, so I'm Anastasiia, hi again. So I'm going to talk about my projects that are situated in the western part of Ukraine, the city called Lviv. So Anastasiia was sharing all these charts with the occupancy rates in Kiev. So the data is absolutely different. Like in Kiev is much lower, and in Lviv is better because there is a big reason. First, obviously the war, but what happened, just to draw you a picture, is that lots of the businesses started to move from south and from east to western part. And it's been like this already for 2 years, and many corporate businesses and NGOs, the international NGOs, started to be based in Lviv because it's more safe and it's closer to the Poland in case if you have to run away from the country. Actually, this is our reality. But anyway, so let me explain. No, the first slide. Thank you so much. So let me explain from who I represent. I represent a big development company who focuses mainly on the real estate. And we do have a commercial department and operational business. So I'm in operational business. In operational business, we have hotels, we have commercial real estate, and coworking. So I lead the coworking branch. At the moment, we have 2 coworkings, which one of it is 3,500 square meters, and the second is up to 1,000 square meters. So one of it is 3.5 years old, I guess, yeah. And the other one we opened during the war. And it's in the center, and it's in we own our property, so basically we closed the restaurant that we owned, so the space was free, so I took a chance, and we did it. And we actually had the sold out in 1 week, so it was super successful because it was a time when the time with the blackouts, right? So blackouts is like when the city go down with the electricity. You don't have any electricity to charge the phone, you know, to work. And Lviv is a city of IT segment, so mainly people are working for other countries. Basically, like they don't care, right? The headquarter, which is in Singapore or in New York, they don't care. Rather, you have the electricity or not. So that's why it was super successful, and still it is. So, yeah, we can move to another slide. Getting back just a second for the expansion. So before the war, we had a huge plans to grow our business within Ukraine. And we had like inner tenders in our company, and we won like 5 locations to build the chain of coworkings. But it doesn't happen at the moment, and our investors are still thinking about it. Maybe next year we're gonna do more 2,000 square meters in the business center, which we recently built. But you know, it's like we have to invest a lot in square meter. So for now, it's like we calculated for fit out $900 per square meter, for instance, just to show you some numbers. So that is why, since you know my project is quite good, and I believe in my team, and you know it's super great, and we are super servicing and so on. So we started to think on expansion. So already for 6 months, I have this new role of mine, which I'm traveling and trying to find a place where we can base. We started thinking about Cyprus, because we have some business in Cyprus as well. Well, mostly all developers from Ukraine have business in Cyprus. Anyway, so we tried Cyprus. We are waiting for a business center to be built there, and I guess we're gonna open it maybe in 2 years, but I don't know. Then I went to Eastern Europe. It was Budapest and Poland. Then I went to Spain, and I've been trying a lot to UK also. So I've been doing my research. And the country where we stopped our focus on is Poland. Well, because most of Ukrainians are there, but it's not like the main reason. But the main reason is the market. The market is super good, like super duper good. And so at the moment we are working with CWE Poland because I've been working with CWE, Colliers, and all these companies in Ukraine many years. And of course they recommended me, so I have a nice broker there, Konrad, and he's helping me a lot. We are searching for many locations. Last time I did 12 sightseeing tours, so it's quite a lot. And then you have to come back. You're waiting for a commercial offer, so you calculate it on your Excel sheet, and if the numbers are flying, so it's good. We can do it. Anyway, and then, so the situation is like this. We are focusing on the Poland, but it doesn't go as fast as I was imagining it could be, because in Poland, so in Ukraine, we are operating on our own properties. But in Poland, we are trying to open a co-working on the rent. So in Poland, the situation is like this, that the landlords are mainly funds, like French funds, or I don't know, some kind of different landlords which we have like in Ukraine. So, and it takes time for them to, we bid for the location, they come for the counter offer, and it goes like back and forth. Anyway, so we are still on it. It's a hard way, but I think it's going to be very interesting for us to do it. Next slide. Okay, so how does co-working existing at the moment? Well, it's existing and it's growing and it's quite good. As I was saying, so the occupancy rates are very high. Just to draw you the picture how it was during all war. So, for instance, me as an operational business, I was the only one, and the hotels, we were the only one branch of our whole business company who were succeeded, right? So we were functional. We didn't fire anyone and so on. So we even opened a new location. So it's working. When the war started, before the war, we had occupancy rate, it was like up to 90%. And then it fell down from 82 to 79. And it was like this for half a year, maybe. And at the moment, we are 99, so which is super good. We are super full, but I'm talking about the private offices, which, fulfill your budget. Well, the open spaces as well, but, lounge and, all these day passes, I don't count. And so if I would say about the challenges and focuses, well, the main focus which we decided with my team to take for the next year is actually inclusivity. If I'm correctly, right? Inclusivity. So it's like we have to provide the equal access to the location and to people with disabilities, intellectual and physical, because it's like our Ukrainian future for many years ahead, unfortunately, but this is truth. And, I'm not talking about the soldiers who are injured, and I'm talking also about the civilians who got injured because of the bombing. So this is our reality, and this is what we are facing at the moment, and this is the focus, the main focus, which we decided to take for ourselves. And yeah. Anyway, so so this is a focus and the struggle at the same time, because you have to invest in the locations, the capex, because our locations are not. It was not planned for the all these things which is happening at the moment. So right now we finished the budgeting for the next year, so it's already in the capex and the focus is done, so it's like this. Also, there are lots of sub-focuses, like, I don't know, mental health, I don't know. Also, one of them, focuses is Ukrainian traditions because of the Russian propaganda for all these years. Before, we were like pushed. So the Ukrainian traditions and the language by itself, it was down. So now we are trying to grow it, to bloom it in our community, in our co-working, and in all our companies. So I guess this is it. I'm sorry, I was a little bit nervous. Well, yeah, thank you for attention, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a question. What the uniqueness of Ukrainian co-working spaces?
Okay, Dima was training me actually before that, so to find the uniqueness of Ukrainian co-workers, and this is true. Thank you for the question. I forgot to tell you that. So Ilia was mentioning before in his video, about the safety. Yeah. Safety is a crucial moment of all Ukrainian co-working. So every tenant which comes to you, he asks you, do you have a bomb shelter? Do you have a Starlink? Which is actually, it didn't work. We didn't use it. We bought like 5 Starlinks, and it's like, shitty. Anyway, so bomb shelter, then stable internet, but not stable internet like a one cable. Like you have to have 3. And then a generator, of course, and I have a very good operational director who thought about it ahead, and we bought it from Poland 6 months before the blackout. So we were like, cool. We were like, everything was great. So I think this is the uniqueness, right, Dima? Thank you so much for the question. You sure?
May I ask
yes.
you? I'm very happy to hear your strong figures, your enthusiasm.
We wouldn't survive.
Congratulations. I have a question as a father of 2 adult sons. Do you have change in the composition of the user community by gender? I think that young men are forced to leave the working life and to serve in military service. So, do you have figures or a feeling in this?
Well, it's a tough question.
Change?
It's a tough question. Of course, you know about the mobilization, which is happening. This process is like unstoppable, of course, because men have to fight, and women too, actually. So, no, we don't have this data, but it's a very interesting question. I think we should maybe consider this for the next year. I can tell for my co-workings, the gender didn't change because, like in my big co-working, which is like 4,000 square meters, up to 4,000, the tenants, as they were, they are still with us. So, and mainly IT, and they are in the office every day. Yeah. So in the big co-working, no, it didn't change. My central co-working is working for mainly, it's not a private office, it's like, how do you call it? I forgot. Anyway, so for the persona, by persona, right? And there are a lot of guys who came from east and south. So I don't see any change. They are still there.
The main parts of these guys, they are still here. There, I mean. So we do not see the change in the like resident portraits because of this reason. Because people who work in Ukrainian economy, who work in co-workings, they are like. From the very beginning, they are working, and these people who is in charge for our security, yes, who is on the war, they started this, and they are still in that part of Ukraine, so they are still here, but it's quite huge percent of the people, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe something positive. Do you want to ask?
Actually, I'm again the timekeeper, and because we have a workshop just after, please let's give them a warm round.
Can I summarize just one word?
Not yet for applause. Yes.
Just last words. I wanted to say thank you actually to Pauline and Jean-Yves for inviting us. And it's not only us, it's a Ukrainian coworking delegation, 2 beautiful ladies there from coworking in Lviv, and some other representatives from our side. And I wanted to say that it's not just a trip for many people to fly here. It's a little bit of bus, train, and airplane. I live in Porto personally. For me, it was easy ride, but for both Anastasiia, Christina, Olena, it was a long trip here, and it's also very motivating and inspiring to be on this stage, to be in this room, to be heard, to be a voice of Ukrainians to some extent, to answer your questions, and also a little bit of inspiration for the young ladies. This one spent Friday to Saturday night during the missile attack in a bathroom, for example, for 6 hours. It's still our reality, but I believe this time she was preparing this speech.
I was thinking about what to say.
Yeah, so thank you for supporting us. Thank you for giving the stage, and thank you for the questions.
Thank you very much. We remember also... Thank you. Thank you.